Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about angles and triangles and how to measure angles and find the missing angles. Let's see what we are going to learn today. We are going to talk about what's an angle, measuring the angles, and angles in a triangle. Let's talk about measuring the angles. First of all, it's important to understand what an angle is. Formed when two lines meet at a point. The meeting point is called as vertex. Angles are actually measured in degrees. Here we have these two lines meeting at a vertex and forming an angle. Let's take a look at the types of angles. An angle measuring less than 90 degrees is called an acute angle. An angle measuring more than 90 degrees is called obtuse angle. An angle measuring more than 180 degree is a reflex angle. You must know the total angles in a circle are 360 degrees. Thus, in a semicircle, that is on an horizontal line, the sum of the angles will be 180 degrees. Let's take a look at how to measure an angle. So, we use protractor to measure an angle. A protractor can be a semicircular one or a circular one which measures up to 360 degrees. Here I have shown you a semicircular protractor which is commonly used. On a semicircular protractor, you will find an inner circle of degrees measuring from 0 to 180 from the right hand side, and the outer circle measures again 0 to 180 from the left hand side. How to use the inner circle to measure the angle? Keep a note that when you are using an inner circle, you are measuring from right to left from 0 to 180 degrees. So place your protractor so that the center point of the protractor is exactly matching the vertex of the angle. Align this baseline with one arm of the angle and then read the another arm where it touches on the inner circle lines. That's how you measure the angle. Similarly, using the outer circle, you would start from 180 to 0. You will again place the protractor so that the center point is at the vertex of the angle. Align the baseline, that is 0 to 180 line, with one arm of the triangle, and this time you're going to read the outer circle. The numbers are going to start from 180 at the right and decrease towards 0 on the left. Let's see the steps to measure any angle. These are going to be really helpful. Step 1. Place the protractor on the angle. Like this. Assume this is my angle. I am placing the protractor on the angle. Make sure that the center of the protractor is exactly over the vertex. Step 3. Align the baseline, that is 0 to 180 degree line, with one arm of the angle. Step 4. Look at the other arm and see which number it touches. Now, you just need to read the angle on the correct scale. It might be the inner circle or the outer circle based on what circle you're using to measure your angle. Isn't it easy? There are some quick tips which are really going to help you to measure the angle. It is important to identify how you're measuring your angle. So when you measure clockwise, that is for an angle which has an opening on the left hand side, you use the outer circle of the protractor. When you measure anti-clockwise, that is an angle having opening on your right hand side, you use the inner circle on the protractor. This is really going to help you to identify how to place the protractor and which circle you are going to use to match your angle with. Now let's take a look at angles in a triangle. First, let's understand what a triangle really is. A triangle is basically a closed shape that is formed by three sides connecting to each other. These three lines connecting to each other is forming a closed shape and thus form three interior angles. The thumb rule is the three interior angles of a triangle always adds up to 180 degrees. Now how to find the missing angles in a triangle? Let's see this example. You are to work out the size of an angle x. I am given the other two angles of a triangle as 30 degrees and 70 degrees respectively. How to solve it? Just two steps. Step 1. Add the two known angles. And step 2. Subtract their sum, that is the known angle sum, from 180 degree. As you know, the sum of all the three angles of a triangle is always 180 degrees. Let's try to solve this. So for this given triangle, I have an angle of 30 degrees, another one for 70 degrees, and I am to find the missing angle x. So let's follow the steps. Step 1. Sum the given two angles. That is 30 plus 70 is gonna be 100 degrees. And now step 2 is subtract this sum from 180 degrees. That is 180 minus 100. And thus the missing angle x is 80 degrees. To recheck your answer, you can always go and sum up the three angles of the triangle. So what's the sum of all three angles in a triangle? Correct, that's 180 degree. So to recheck your answer, you can sum up 30 plus 70 plus 80. That gives you 180 degrees. This indicates that you have found an accurate missing angle. Quick tips around solving the problems where you are to find the missing angles in triangle. You need to look at the triangle diagram given to you. At times, the symbol which is shown here in a triangle, it indicates that it's a 90-degree angle. In a triangle diagram where you see two lines on the sides of triangle, this shows that these two sides of a triangle are equal. That's making it an isosceles triangle. Thus, the angles formed by these isosceles triangles are always going to be equal. This is really going to help you when you have to find a missing angle in an isosceles triangle. Let's take a quick look at a worked example for an isosceles triangle. I am given with a triangle. Now I can identify that this is an isosceles triangle because I had these two lines indicating it's an isosceles triangle. Let's recall our steps. Add the given angles and then step 2 is subtract their sum from 180 degree. But what is this? I just have one angle given here and I have to find the missing angle Z. Nothing's to worry. You just need to remember that this is an isosceles triangle. And what does an isosceles triangle means? That the two angles formed by the equal sides are always going to be equal. That means the angle which is here is equal to this angle, making it 28 degrees. Now I do have two angles, though they are same. So the two angles at base will be 28 degrees each. Thus, their sum is 28 plus 28. And what was our step 2? Minus their sum from 180. So Z is going to be equals to 180 minus 28 plus 28. That gives you 180 minus 56. Thus, making Z is equals to 124 as your missing angle. Isn't it easy? The key thing to remember is you need to carefully look at the triangle given to you, identify what type of triangle it is, and then accordingly find the sum of the given angles and then subtract it from 180. Great job today, guys. We have covered angles and triangles in this video. We talked about measuring the angles and finding the missing angles. Are you ready to test yourself? Get the quiz link in the description. Thanks for watching. Do let us know your comments and suggestions by posting on this video. Thank you.